What's up, my people? How are you guys doing today? All right, let's get started. Writing equations in standard and point slope forms. We actually have covered standard form a little bit within class. Now we're going to delve into point slope form. Beginning in chapter 4, we are doing bell work again. Please do it. All right, in relation to this bell work, ladies and gentlemen, write an equation of the line. So we would actually do our slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Then you plug in the values of y, m, x. Solve for b. You should end up with y equals negative 2x plus 9. Write an equation of the line that passes through this point. Slope, fill it in to get 1. Then you plug in your values once again, and when you get it, you should get 5 equals 1. Slope intercept, the y-intercept is 5, and the slope is 1. There's your equation. If you need to know how to do it, please figure it out, ladies and gentlemen. Pause the video, watch it, go from there. All right, we're going to do 3 mathematical practices today. We're going to talk about intercepts, making sure you understand how to do both. Slope-intercept form is what we did do. Now we're going to cover standard form and point-slope form. Within the context of my classroom, we did talk a little bit about standard form in chapter 3. One thing, and please make sure before we continue, is be on page 232 because you will need it for your notes. And if you don't have the notes, please make sure you go to Canvas, download them, and print them off. Okay? All right, the linear equation, ax plus by equals c, is the standard form. If you guys remember, we talked a little bit about it. I made you do a couple exercises with it, and some of you guys got confused. Remember what it means, okay? Here's your standard form. Here's the symbols. Here's the example underneath of it. So what does it mean? Well, basically it just means that I know A equals 3, B equals 2, and then C equals 12. Now, is there any type of number on here that will help you graph here? The answer is no, there is not. With the slope-intercept form, we'd have the slope and the y-intercept, so you could graph it. Okay, we're going to go into the point-slope form. With the point-slope form, you can actually write that as the slope-intercept form, and you can graph that. With the standard form, is there any type of information here that helps you graph it, say, oh, I know where to put a point? Absolutely not. Okay, it's just a way to write an equation. Just remember that. Okay, so here's your standard setup. Party planning. Party favors are 6. Balloons are $4.50. You spend $90. Write the equation in standard form. So it's going to be 6x, because that's the cost of each party favor, and each party favor is x, plus the cost of each balloon, which is $4.50, so it's just 4.5, and let y be the number of balloons, equals 90. This is the beginning of what we call the system of equations. Okay, we're going to be dealing a lot with these equations. We're going to graph them, and then we're going to solve for interpretations. Use the intercepts to graph the equation. So our intercepts, the setup of our intercepts are these. Our x-intercept is going to have 0 in the y. And then our y-intercept is going to have a 0 in the x-coordinate. So what you do is you basically take this equation, plug in a 0, you solve for the other variable. So let's work on this first one, for example. If I put a 0 into y, okay, it's going to do what? 4 times 5 is 0. You cancel it out. I will write it out this one time, but going forward, we're just going to cancel it out right away. All right, and that's times 0 equals 90. So these cancel out, and it's just 6x equals 90. Then your next step is to do what? This is multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is divide. Divide both sides by 6. You're going to get x equals 15. Put it in a calculator. I've already done this once. My video froze. I'm doing this again. It's beautiful. Sometimes I love technology a lot. Now, ladies and gentlemen, plug 0 in to here. So it's 6 and 0 because that's what I told you to for the x. Plus 4.5y equals 90. Okay? Cancel these out. So you basically have 4.5y equals 90. Divide that by both sides by 4.5. You're going to go y equals 20. So you would technically graph it. Now I know my first point is over 15 up 20. Now this only goes to 10. So I'm going to go this by 5s. So this would be 5, 10, 15. And then my other point is going to be at 20. So it's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20. Put a point up there. Connect the dots. Something like that. Now, one thing I want to make sure you guys understand is because the next part of this says, if you buy 9 party favors, how many balloons could you buy? Do I want you to do the math on this? Yes and no. The reason I say yes and no is because I want you to do the math this one time so you know how to do it. So if I'm going to buy 9 party favors, my 9 party favors is what? The x value. So it's 6 times 9, and then it's going to be plus 4.5y equals 90. Multiply this out. 9 times 6 is 54. I sure hope it is. 90, okay? You subtract both sides by 54. All right, and then you end up with, let me make sure I get this right. Okay, 90 minus 54, it's going to be 36. So I end up with 4.5y equals 36. Now, you're going to divide by 4.5, and if you do that, divide that by 4.5, you end up with y equals 8. Now here's the dilemma as a math teacher, ladies and gentlemen, is do I want you to do all of this math? Yes and no. The reason is that I don't want you to keep working on stuff if you have the technology to answer it for you, because when it comes to AZ Merit time, you have to go faster than what we're doing right now. So, you have access to Desmos. Open it up. You graph it. Bam, here it is. I put this functionality in. Here's my thing, okay? My x-intercept is 15, 0. My y is 0, 20. That's what we discovered. If I'm asking you how many party favors, so my x value is going to be 9. If I do that, ladies and gentlemen, my y value becomes, if I can get on it, 8. I breathed. You guys saw that, hopefully. No, that is the fastest way to do this. Can you do the math? Yes, but I want you to graph it. So, the guided practice. Ladies and gentlemen, open your books to page 232. There's an equation in the real world situation. The equation starts out like this. 8x plus 12y. And it's going to equal, because we're rewriting it. In the book, it has 48. This new equation, I want 96. Graph it. Give me the y-intercept, x-intercept, and then answer the bottom question. Now, do I want you to do all the beautiful math on here? You can, but it's going to take you too long. You could do the 0x, okay? You plug it in. You could do the, oh, I did that wrong, sorry. You could do the functionality of x, comma, 0. Plug in 0 for y. Answer it. You can do the 0y. Plug in 0 for x, and then answer it. I don't want you to do that because it takes too long, and that's 1953 technology, or how they used to do it back then. I don't want you to do that now. I want you to go faster, okay? Now, am I going to regret this later? Possibly. But when it comes to time to take the test, ladies and gentlemen, and to actually answer this and to move on, I don't think it's going to cost you at all. 8x plus 12y equals 96. Okay? 8x plus 12y equals 96. Bam, there's my answer. Okay? Let me zoom in a little bit. Actually, let me go home, and then I'll zoom out once. Whoops, wrong way. Okay, here's my zoom out. What is my y-intercept? 8. What is my x-intercept? 12. so I know exactly where I'm sitting with this equation, okay? Now my question is what are my intercepts? I graphed it, my intercepts. Remember, the first one, where's the x value? So as long as I know that this is the setup, okay, my x is 12. So this is 12, 0, and this is 0, 8. So there are my intercepts. I could graph it. I'd be fine. If the group still only takes 2 large vans, how many vans are required? So the large vans, if you guys look at your equation in the book, the large vans are the x or the y values. So if my y is 2, so that means my y is going to be 2, so I should probably come down here. My y is 2, my x is going to be what? 9. So how many small vans do they need now? They need 9 small vans. Please understand, I want you to go faster, but understand what you're doing in this context. If you start to struggle with these graphs, understand what you're looking for. So when it said 2 large vans, look at your equations in your book. The large van represented the y. You plug in the y coordinate of 2. So make sure you understand that I'm not looking for the y coordinate up here. I'm looking for the second value to be 2. And when the second value is 2, that is my answer of 9. Okay? All right, next. We are going to move on to what's called the point-slope form. If you guys remember from last chapter, I gave you guys 2 points. And what I would do to you is it would be like a 9 and an R, and then it would be 6, 3, and then I would give you the point, or the slope. I would say m equals 1/2. You all struggled with this mightily. This, ladies and gentlemen, will actually give you an easier way to do it. So let's begin. Let me show you why. Here's the slope formula. Okay, this is the point slope form. However, one caveat I want you to change, which I learned last year. Okay, when one of my veteran math teachers set it up to me, Miss Mahoney actually, basically said, do not use this formula as it sits. Change it and teach your kids the change. And I said, what? Change it? What do you mean change it? This is how I want you guys to remember this formula. If I'm solving for y, what is the first step I'm going to do with this equation? All right, look at it and tell me the answer to that. If I'm solving this for y equals, what is the first step you would do? You would actually do what? Add y1 to both sides. And if you do that, you're going to end up with y equals. So, this point slope formula, I want you to remember it as this. So change it in your notes as y equals m, because that's what this is. And it's going to be x minus x1 plus y1. That is how I want you to remember it. Now, what are we going to change with substitution? Well, we're actually going to only do substitution in the slope and the 1 point. So let me explain. All right, so let's do this. Write an equation in point-slope form for a line that passes through this point and this slope. So if we write down up here our rewritten equation, x minus x1 plus y1, because we're changing it. All you do now is you do what? You fill in your variables. So you change your slope. Are we changing our y and our x? The answer is no, we're not. So we're going to rewrite it as y equals, and then I'm going to put a little bracket of x. Are we going to change everything else around it? Yes, we are. Our slope, negative 3 over 2. And then our x value here, our x value is negative 2. So it's going to be minus negative 2. We're running into that again. And it's going to be plus what? 0. Okay, cool thing. Plus 0. Goodbye. It's gone. Right now, what we got to do is let's rewrite this. So it's going to be y equals negative 3 over 2. X, negative and a negative, is positive. Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, you have to distribute. So just distribute this negative. So negative times this 3x is going to be y equals negative 3 over 2x, right? Because you're multiplying that by that. And then this needs to be multiplied into there as well. So what would be 3 times 2? Because remember, this is over 1. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. All right, if you don't get that because I moved too fast, it would be negative 3 over 2 times 2 over 1. Multiply these together, you would get negative 6 over 2. Simplify that, it's negative 3. Simple, quick. I don't have to make any of the changes. I don't have to take the y and add it over to here, do a bunch of stuff. It's one simple setup just like that. Now graph the equation. If I graph it, here's my y-intercept, negative 3. Okay, and then my slope is negative 3, 2. So it's negative, so it's dropping down 1, 2, 3 over 2. Down 3, 1, 2, 3 over 2. So ladies and gentlemen, there is my line. Your turn. All right, write a slope, write an equation point slope form that passes through this line. So if I got y equals, my slope is negative 3, bracket, x, and then it is minus. My x value in this is going to be negative 2. What's the deal with this book and all these negatives, huh? Plus my y value of 2. Now you combine everything together. So it's going to be, you distribute, right? When you distribute the negative 3 into here and into here, y equals negative 3x. This is going to be negative negative is what? This is going to be x plus 2. Negative 3 times positive 2 is what? Negative 6 plus 2. Combine the like terms. I'm going to get y equals negative 3x, and then that is going to be minus 4. Hopefully you guys see that. Any questions? Graph it. Negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then my slope is going to be 3 down, 1, 2, 3, 1 over. 3 down, 1, 2, 3, 1 over. So ladies and gentlemen, there's my slope. Oh man, that was horrible. Missed it. Let's see if I can do that again. Let's go bright red. Something like that, okay? As I get taller, it's crooked. Any questions on that? Simple setup. On the homework tonight, I'll have multiple examples to show to do it. So there's two ways when you're writing an equation. You're going to be given a slope and a point. You substitute into the point slope form, and you rewrite the equation. Or you're going to give 2 points, find the slope first, then choose one of the 2 points to use to write it into slope-intercept like we learned last week. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to be able to write the form in 3 different equations. Slightly complicated, a lot of math. So let's begin. Write a line through a point, 8, 1, and a slope of this. So if I know I'm given a point and a slope, I'm going to use the point slope form. So it's going to be y equals. So here is, I'm going to write an equation in point slope form, slope intercept, and standard. So this is going to be our point slope form. And I will make sure when we take our tests, ladies and gentlemen, that because of the way I'm showing you this, I will modify the test to ensure you guys know exactly what we're doing. 8 plus 1, okay? Then, ladies and gentlemen, here is the what? That is point slope form. Slope intercept form, you need to rewrite it. So this is the, I'm going to make green, slope intercept form. So slope intercept form is you need to rewrite this. So you would have y equals 3 over 4x minus, now you could put this in a calculator, say 8 times 3. 8 times 3 is what, 24? Divide that by 4, it's actually 6. Put it in a calculator though, if you want. Plus 1. So you'd end up with y equals 3 over 4x, and that's going to be minus 5. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is what? Your slope-intercept form. But lastly, we need to put it into what? Standard form. Standard form is going to be blue. To move standard form, you would do what? Standard form is, remember, standard is ax plus by equals c. Well, my c value is 5. That's on the right side of the equal sign. My y is on the correct side of the left, but my x is never on the correct side. It needs to go over to here. So in order to do that, you just do what? You would subtract by 3 over 4x, both sides. So your equation is going to end up being negative 3 over 4x, and it's going to be plus y equals negative 5. Now, one thing that tripped you guys up on the last test, this is the correct answer, but some books, ladies and gentlemen, don't like to leave the first number as negative. Okay? They don't want this negative. If this is not negative, switch all the signs. What I mean by that is, this is the correct answer, but it can also be, so let me put it as, let me go or, and let me switch it. Because last time we did this on the test and most of you got it wrong. It would be 3 over 4x. This is negative and this is positive, and I'm switching all the signs. This is positive now. This is going to be what? Negative, and this is going to be positive. This and this are the same thing. Please make sure you understand that aspect. Okay? This and this are the same thing. So, point slope form. Slope-intercept form is this piece right here, and then the last one is standard form right here. All right, do it again now. Line through points. Oh yay, oh yay. Okay, so the line here, we're going to do the slope. We're going to start up with y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1 equals. Okay, now your points are going to be negative 7 plus 5, and it's going to be negative 6. Wait, did it do plus? That's not plus. My bad. Erase that. Alright, don't go too fast. Negative 6, and then it's minus minus 5, 3. That's why I'm going to go too fast. Mark these together. 7 and 5 is 12, negative. And then the bottom here, 6 and 3 is 9, negative. Negative and a negative is going to be what, ladies and gentlemen? A positive. So you can actually divide 3, that's a horrible division, by 3, each of these. So that would be 4 over 3. So there's my slope. Now if I have my slope in a form, you can continue on. Okay, so you want to make sure you guys can continue on this formula. So let's begin. It's a long way home, but we'll get there. Hopefully you guys got this already. I'm about to erase it. Okay, so this one here, we got our slope, we got a point. Now let's write it out. Your y-intercept is going to be y equals, my slope is 4 over 3. It's going to be x minus, and then I'm going to go, the x value is 3 plus my y value of 5. All right, combine them together. Distribute. Y equals 4 over 3. This is my slope, point slope form. So here's point slope form. Now let me make sure I change it again so I don't get you guys too confused. Now let's write it together to get slope intercept. 4 times 3 is 12. Divided by 3 is 4. How about that? So it's going to be minus 4 plus 5. Combine the like terms. Y equals 4 over 3x. And then that's going to be plus 1. There's my slope intercept form. Now I need to rewrite it in standard form by subtracting 4 over 3x from both sides. If I do that, and my equation is going to be negative 4 over 3x plus y equals 1. Now remember, the other way to see it is if I flip all the signs. 4 over 3x minus 1 equals negative 1. This and this are the same thing. Please make sure you understand both and you understand why. Okay? It's because if you have negative here, slope, technically speaking, when you rewrite this equation, if I rewrote this equation and I added the 4 minus 3x back over to here, okay, and then I subtracted the negative 4 over 3x and I put it over here, I'd have a negative y, so I would still have to switch all the signs. So it does work if you switch the signs. Matter of fact, if you go into Desmos and you graph this and you graph this, you should get the exact same line. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your turn. Whoop. Let's not do that. Your turn. All right, would I like there to be an easier way to finish this out? Yes, I would love to have an easier way to finish this out, but this is a very long lesson. Matter of fact, I might split this in two. All right, going through this slope, y equals, whoops. All right, we're going to do y equals, ladies and gentlemen, your slope of 7, and then your points are x minus, and it's going to be negative 5 plus 1. So there's your slope-intercept form, okay? Or your point-slope form, I'm sorry. Now you combine everything together to, let's get our other one. So it's going to be y equals 7x, and then it is going to be plus 35 plus 1. Combine the like terms, plus 36. There's my slope-intercept form. Then my standard form is just subtracting 7x from both sides. So it's going to be negative 7x plus y equals 36. But also remember, you might see it on a test, ladies and gentlemen. If they try to trick you, 7x minus y equals negative 36. These two things are the same thing. Get used to seeing that. There's your standard form. Okay, slope over here is 3 over 1 minus minus. This is negative 6. That's a 4. So you'd have 6 plus 3 is 9 over 4 minus 3 is negative 3. So you end up with negative 3 as your slope. Okay, so that's m equals. All right, now let's use a point. Let's use 1. So it's going to be y equals negative 3. And then your value is x minus 1 plus 3. Okay, now you combine it up, distribute. This is your this is going to be your slope, your point slope form. You distribute it out. Okay, it's going to be y equals negative 3x, negative negative, plus 3 plus 3. So your equation is negative 3x plus what? 6. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is the slope-intercept form. To get it to standard form, you do what? Add 3x to both sides. This one's nice. You don't have to change it. 3x plus y equals 6. Standard. On a test I had last year, I put the equation in once, and I said write it 3 times. Please be ready for that. Okay, now I want you to write equations in point, slope, and standard form based on geometry. Figure shows a trapezoid, ABCD, with bases. So let me make sure I highlight these bases. Base is AB, right here's a base, and CD, here's a base. Okay, write an equation in point slope form for the line containing the side B, C. All right, so we have our slope, so we have our points. So it's telling you to write the 2 points. So let's begin with our 2 points. My one point is 4, 3. And my other point is what? 6, negative 2. So guess what you do, ladies and gentlemen? Just write it up yourself if you can. I'm trying to see if I can tell the slope on that by looking at it. It's a negative slope, I know that. All right, so let's write it out. So this is going to be, I'll start with this one. 3 over 4 minus minus negative 2 over 6. So it's going to be 5 and that is going to be 5 over, oh look, negative 2. So my slope is 5 over 2, and that's negative. So now we're going to pick a point. Let's go 4, 3. So we're going to write an equation in point slope form. Now, oh, and then I got to do it in standard form. Darn it. Okay, so point slope form is y equals, and it's going to be m, which is negative 5 over 2. And then you don't do the x minus. Then my x value, I'm going with the 4 and the 3 plus 3. All right, that way you get away from the negative. Distribute. So if I distribute this out, now I'm done with this one. But what I'm not done is down here. Okay, write the equation in standard form. So if I'm going to do it in standard form, let me finish it off here. Let me distribute. So this is going to be x, and then negative 4 times negative 5 is going to be positive 20. Positive 20 divided by 2 is 10, plus 3. Okay, then you finish it off. Y equals negative 5 over 2x plus 13. This is slope-intercept form, but I need it in what? Standard. So in standard form, you would just add 5 over 2x to both sides. You end up 5 over 2x plus y equals, ladies and gentlemen, try that one. Isn't this fun? All right, write an equation in slope, point slope for in standard form for each line. What I will do, ladies and gentlemen, holy cow, this is a long lesson. All right, so, yeah, if you need to take a break, I think this is going to be a 2-day lesson. Okay, so contain the line containing ST. So we need to get our points. So let me label my points here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I know that's 4, 2. So this is 4 over 2 up. Okay, red so I can see these. This one here is 1 over. So it's 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 5. This point here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 7. Oops. All right, 7 over, and then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 up. All right, and this last one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, is 4 over, and then it's 8 up. All right, there are my points. So now I got to get the equation for the line containing S and T. Well, I'm going to skip the slope because check this out, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think the slope of this is? If you look at this line, this is negative because it's going down, and it's 1 over down up. So the slope on that is negative 1. So this one M equals negative 1. Cheated that one. And then SR, this is a positive slope. What do you think that slope is? That slope is 1. Woohoo! Okay, so if you can graph it, you can actually do sometimes quicker. All right, so point slope form. Point slope form is the y equals. So for 4a, okay, this is going to be 4a. All right, it's going to be y equals negative 1, x minus, and then let me pick, this is st, right? Let me pick 4a, that seems smoother. 4 plus 8, okay, then you distribute. So to get to, that's point slope form, we got to get it in the standard. So it's going to be y equals, distribute this, negative x, that becomes plus 4 plus 8, y equals negative x plus 12. Now you're going to do what? To get it into standard form, you've got to move this bad boy over. I hate when I do that. Fat lines. So if you do that, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get negative x plus y equals 12. Remember, this could be written also as x minus y equals negative 12. It's either or. Okay, please make sure you know. So for 4a, that's this point slope form. There's standard form. The line containing SR. SR. We're using the R point because it's got a 1, because that's easier to do. All right, so we're going to do y equals 1, and then x minus, and I said 1, 5, or 1 plus 5. Combine and distribute it together. So there's your point slope form. So it'll be y equals x minus 1 plus 5, simple enough. So then you'd have y equals x plus 4. And what's cool is if you graph this out and look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, your x-intercept is going to be 4. So standard form, subtract x from both sides. It's going to be negative x equals 4, or x minus y equals negative 4. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. long lesson. It'll probably be done in a day and a half. So if you're watching this video, you missed one of the days, make sure you get the notes for the front half or the notes for the back half. Do the homework, work on both of these. This part is very important for you guys to understand. You have to be able to do things back and forth. You gotta know what the difference between the point slope form is, slope intercept, and the standard. I have them all above my board. You guys should do the same thing and write them down so you can remember. Until next time, have a great day, night, or evening, and I'll see you guys in class.